Good morning. Welcome to Happy Trails Hiking. On this station, you will find content about park travel as well as living a healthy lifestyle. If you're interested in those sorts of things, I would invite you to subscribe. My name is Kay, and this is the Healthy Lifestyle Show. I want to offer encouragement for you to live the life you love. This is Travel Tuesday. Let me encourage you to use that hashtag on your social media tweets today and other posts. I would love to retweet and share your Facebook and Instagram posts. And feel free to tag me at Happy Trails Hike or on Instagram or Facebook at Happy Trails Hiking. So it's good to see you today. And good morning to those who are in the chat. Treats by the campfire and Life on the Trail is here. So our show today is brought to you by our Shopify store. Actually, it's our online store. We just had a sale today. I'm very excited. And you can find pictures like that, on our various things that you could put it on: mugs, pillows, posters, things like that behind my head. We have lots of things that you can put our photographs on. And this is our American bald eagle. And we just sold that one of those this morning. I'm very excited about that. So thank you to all of you for being here today. And I have an exciting show for you today. Our first Travel Tuesday is with guest Theresa from The Local Tourist. Theresa is a new friend of mine that I met through the Midwest Travel Network. Just a bit about Theresa before we get started. Theresa L. Goodrich is an Emmy-winning author and content creator with a penchant for storytelling and a keen eye. She is the founder and publisher of The Local Tourist and author of Two Lane Gems book series. Theresa has appeared in several Chicago media, including Crain's Chicago, the Chicago Tribune, Chicagoist, WGN, WLUP, and WCIU. She was one of the founding bloggers of ChicagoNow, was a Chicago expert for Answers.com, and is a contributor of 1000traveltips.com. She's also spoken on marketing, motivation, and entrepreneurship at several panels and conferences. She's mentored the exclusive 2019, mentored at the exclusive 2019 Bloghouse conference in Scottsdale, Arizona, and was a featured speaker at the 2019 San Diego Travel and Adventure Show and the 2019 Chicago Auto Show, which Matt was very excited about. Matt's my husband. He loves cars. When she's not riding or on the road, she's cooking and planning her next adventure. Please welcome Theresa from The Local Tourist.
Good morning. Take a breath.
That's a long bio with lots
of a long bio. Maybe I should shorten that.
No, that's awesome. If you got it all, you might as well flaunt it. Good for you. Welcome.
Well, good morning. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We have a huge room today, and people are just pouring in. So I do want to make sure that I do say hello to them. And I already said hello to Treats by the Campfire and Life on the Trail. Ginger Lock's mom is here, as well as Disney's Creative. And we're having a tiny splash raid. So something that happens with our YouTube live streams is that someone will raid your stream. So that means they're sending all of their people over to see you. So that's very exciting. Thank you for the raid, Timey. And Desmond Stonders is here, the story of Dory, as well as Marty's crew, Our Family Adventures, and Timey Lives is in the house. It is good to see you. Thank you all for being here. I guess, Theresa, can you just let us know how you got started as a travel writer? Because this is a long list of things that you've done in your life.
Well, I've known since I was a little girl that I wanted to travel the country and tell its stories. And after I got my degree in journalism, I moved to Chicago, fell in love with the city, but instead of getting the traditional job at a paper or the a television station. I decided I was going to wait tables until I could figure out how to write for myself.
Gotcha.
So after I fell in love with the city, I thought, ooh, I should start doing a guide to my neighborhood. Because that's all I knew was just, I knew River North. And then it expanded to downtown Chicago. And then it expanded to all of Chicago in 2008. And then about 2.5 years ago, I had a team of contributors in the Chicago area, and I decided it was time for me to spread those wings and fulfill that little girl's dream to really travel the country. So my husband and I had a booth at the San Diego Travel and Adventure Show, and instead of flying, we decided to drive that year. So we took 31 days, round trip, drove nearly 6,500 miles, and that became my first book.
Wow.
That's how I got started.
So that's where Two Lane Gems came from.
Yes.
Yes, nice.
Mhm.
That's awesome. And guys, if you are interested in finding out more about Theresa after the show, her link is in the description below. And if one of my moderators could grab that link, it would be awesome for you to throw it in the chat so the folks in the chat can see that. So yes, welcome Panic D. 31 days. Yes, I wish I could take a 31-day road trip. That's amazing. Matt and I managed 3 weeks last summer. We went out and did the Rockies road trip. So we did the Rockies from Missouri and then back. So it was really cool. I'm not going to write a book about it though. I did videos. That's about it. So tell me about, well, the local tourist. It's an interesting title. And what does that mean to you to be a local tourist?
It really means exploring a place with depth, going beyond the tourist destinations, but to really kind of dig in. It means being very present when you're traveling somewhere, making sure that you're in the moment, in the place where you're visiting, and it's interacting with the locals. So if you're traveling, then talk to the locals, find out where they go, what are their favorite spots, and our best experiences have come out of recommendations from locals that we've talked to just by saying, hey, where do you go to lunch? And or, well, this campground that we planned on is closed, so where should we go instead? And end up camping at one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my entire life. And so that's when you talk to the locals and you get their insight. But it also means that when you're home, you can be a tourist even though you're a local. You can be a tourist in your own destination. It's really appreciating what every place has to offer. And I do believe that every place has something to offer and something special and something that makes it unique. And being a local tourist means finding that unique and finding that special.
Awesome. We talk a lot in our community about finding your adventure and finding your adventure even just in your backyard. And Matt and I encourage people to do the Hike 365 challenge, and we encourage people to hike in their local parks and hike in their state parks and things that are within a 30-mile radius of them. Matt and I just went this last weekend to a state park that was 15 miles away from our house and went camping.
Yes, nice.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, local tourist, it works. So
if you get something, you can just go home and get
it. Right. Well, we went to our local store that we're used to going to. And anyway, yeah, it's all good. Gilbert Rod, thank you for coming. It is good to meet you. For those of you who just are popping into the show, this is Theresa Goodrich from the Local Tourist, and her links are all below. She is an award-winning author and wonderful person. And looking, well, wonderful person. I've just met her, so so far she hasn't tipped me off. No. Oh, it's all good. Theresa, in looking at your website, you visited many more locations than just your local area and written books about them. Can you tell us a little bit more about your Two Lane Gems books?
Yes, it came out of that road trip to San Diego and back was the first one. Originally, it was just going to be research for the local tourists, and I was just going to put the stories on the site. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to be taking a trip of this magnitude, then I'm going to write a book. And so we made an effort to visit as many of the small towns as we could and try to take the 2 lanes as much as possible. And we did that again last year. We took a 35-day trip to the Oregon coast and back.
Oh,
And same thing. I mean, because that's a longer distance, it was nearly 7,000 miles. We did drive more interstate than we normally like, but there is a limit to how long we want to go.
right.
But, yeah.
So cool. Well, and your books are for sale in bookstores and I but they can also get them for their Kindle. Is that correct?
Yes, the Kindle version.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. I also read on Facebook, I think, about an event you have coming up in October. Can you tell us more about the Writers Workshop and if there are still openings and how we could become involved?
Yes, there are still a few openings. It's going to be a very, very intimate workshop. It's 3 days and 2 nights in Hendricks County, Indiana, which I randomly am drinking from my Hendricks County mug today. It's really unintentional. But we're going to just really dig into how to improve your writing and do some workshops. But it's set in this cabin, Natural Valley Ranch, which is just wonderful and beautiful, and it's on this pond in the woods, and so it's going to be this relaxing, idyllic place. And Visit Hendricks County has a lot of activities planned as well, and they'll be sending food in so that we can really take advantage of the environment and just reach our creativity.
So sort of a retreat, a writer's retreat.
Right, exactly. It's a writer's retreat.
Oh, that's amazing. And yeah, so is it focused on any certain kind of writing, or can someone who wanted to write about murder mysteries?
It's geared towards travel writing, towards sharing stories about travel. So nonfiction travel writing is what it's geared towards.
Awesome. So when you went about doing your 2-lane gems, and you say you travel 2-lane roads quite often, do you have a favorite 2-lane road in every state that you've been to, or is it?
That's a good question. Route 66 has a special place in my heart because when my husband and I were dating, we drove Route 66 in 2011. We actually got married on 66. So the 2-lane portions of that road and going back to the original alignment is just, in the 8 states that route traverses through, though that's, it's the mother road, and it captures the imagination. What was it, 89A in Arizona? We went from Flagstaff and drove down to Cottonwood. There's the 395, although in many sections that's 4 lanes. But that heading north and south in California, it's just, there are so many. It's hard to choose. There's 20, Route 20, 212.
Yeah.
I mean, 40, the national highway. There's no need to choose. You just want to drive them all.
Right. My sister and I got to drive Highway 1 up the coast in March. It rained a lot, but it created some great rainbows and an amazing sunset one night. And I was just like, oh, that was the best. And when you're not trucking along on the highway, you get to stop.
Right. And that's the important thing, is the stopping. That's why I like the 2 lanes, because you don't have to get an exit. You can just see something and pull over.
Right. Exactly. I want to say hello to Matt Cook, Oregon. Thank you for coming. And the Power Chord channel says Route 66 is fun. Yeah, it's got a great song that goes along with it with my music background. I just love that. So let's see. I have noticed as well on your Facebook page, and I love following along on people's Facebook pages, but notice that you're doing a 30-day nature challenge. And Matt and I are doing the Hike 365 challenge. And so I was just interested to know what more you can tell us about the 30-day nature challenge.
Well, I decided I needed to get out and explore what was right around me. I've done these epic road trips and covered things in far-flung parts of the country, but I live in a really beautiful area and I hadn't taken the time to explore it. And we've lived in McHenry County, Illinois for a little over a year now. And there are nature preserves that are 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles away that I've never visited before. We've got 6 campgrounds in this county. I didn't even know they were there.
Wow.
And so I challenged myself, and it started Friday. So today is day 5. Challenge myself to visit all of those nature preserves in the month of August and get out in the nature at some point every day. I mean, I live a quarter mile from Prairie Trail, which is this trail that connects King County and goes all the way up into Wisconsin. And there are 4 other bike trails that are in this area as well. So the challenge is just to be outside in the nature every day this month.
Awesome.
And share how beautiful this area is, and it's right in my backyard.
That's awesome. Yeah, we love that. That's what Matt and I do. We share our parks and public lands, and when I saw that you were doing that, I was just like, oh, yay, that's the best. So yeah, it's very, very awesome to see that. Do you mind if I share your website just a little bit?
Oh, please do.
Is that okay? Awesome. Hold on just a second. I got to pull that up. Guys, you got to see, let's see, got to see this website. So Theresa has lots going on her website. She has travel trips and road trips, her cultural travel, food and drink. This will be really cool for Foodie Friday, by the way. But your, let's see. What did I see? Pizza, yes. Bruno's Pizza.
That was so good.
That looked amazing. And then this Michigan wineries, breweries, and more. Matt and I just took a trip to Michigan to visit with the beer-bellied travelers who live in Michigan. And so we got to start exploring the breweries up there and things like that. So I was very interested in all of that. What was the other thing? Oh, your national parks. So, of course, I'm going to head for the national parks. But it's on the Canyon Overlook Trail, guys, which is one of the first things that Matt and I did in Zion National Park when we were there, too. So that was awesome. And I was wondering a little bit more about Custer's Last Stand and the Battle of Little Bighorn. So we've got some folks in our community that are paranormal, or not paranormal, but they cover paranormal things and would be interested in any. Well, do you ever cover anything paranormal on your channel? Have you?
Haven't. I have. Although I've stayed in a few haunted hotels. The 1886 Crescent in Eureka Springs,
Arkansas.
Yep.
I got a massage there once. They have a nice spa. They have a nice spa in that hotel. I went there for a facial one day on a girls' trip. So my first. You should have done that. Yeah, no, first and last facial for me, but that's okay. So yeah, it's a haunted place. So, but cool.
Also, the Mizpah Hotel in Tonopah, Nevada.
Oh, wow.
That's a haunted place too. So I can see some of the paranormal.
I've come to realize that more of the places that I go have paranormal claims to them. We won't say that they're haunted, but they have paranormal claims. So and Desmond Stonders wants to know if I had a haunted facial, and no, not necessarily, David, thanks. But that's all right. Let's see, what else was I wanting to show? I wanted to show Devil's Tower. See, there's another one that aliens and all. See, all of these places are very well remembered. On the UNESCO sites, do you do a lot with those UNESCO sites, World Heritage sites and things?
Well, I try to visit as many as I can. I'd like to visit all of the U.S. UNESCO sites. There are now 24 because Frank Lloyd Wright's architecture was just added. So I've got a story on that. It was a collaboration post with a lot of people from the Midwest Travel Network, actually. Shared some stories about the different locations. But I was in Ridgeland, Mississippi last year, And I found out that there was a UNESCO heritage site in Louisiana, and it was about 2.5 hours away. And I had an afternoon. So I just got in the car, drove, and I ended up getting there about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before it closed. And the ranger actually had to come find me to get me home. And so I drove about 5 hours to be there for about 15 minutes, and it was totally worth it.
Totally worth it. Most of the time I find out that travel is totally worth it. However, I did notice on your website that you have a disappointing yet necessary visit to Mesa Verde.
Well, that was because Mesa Verde was someplace I've always wanted to visit since I was a child. It had always just fascinated and captured me, and we got there, but it was in March, so most of it was closed, and we couldn't see very much. So that was the only disappointing part. I mean, but it was worth it.
It was a wonderful place.
Yeah.
I understand completely. So tell me just a little bit more about, the way about you go about traveling or planning travel. Planning travel. So if you had some travel tips that you wanted to offer our viewers, what would you say about planning travel?
My biggest piece of advice is to be flexible and to allow time for spontaneity in your travel planning. I take some press trips where everything is packed to the gills. And while that's great, and that's my job, because then I can experience as much as possible in a short amount of time. But when you're planning your travel, you want to make sure that you allow time to pull over at that historical marker. Or when you're talking to the local and they say, oh, you've got to stop at the International Car Force of the Last Church. You go, okay, so you want to make sure you can build those kinds of adventures into your itinerary. But it's just being open. I always try to start with a visitor's bureau. If I know a destination where I'm going to visit, I will reach out or check the visitors bureau's website first, because they're the experts and it's their job to highlight the best of their community. And so I'll kind of get an idea there and see if anything really captures my imagination, and then start browsing, maybe local bloggers or what other people have said about it, reaching out specifically to those visitors bureaus and getting their personal recommendations. And they love that, because that's what they love to do. I mean, it's their job to be the expert, so they love sharing those tips.
Exactly. So I know that a lot of people that I know plan travel using like TripAdvisor and things like that. Do you use those tools as well, or do you basically try to go and form your own opinions about places?
I don't rely on the ratings. I'll use it to maybe get an overview, but I don't. If I read the reviews and it's terrible, I don't know. I do try to form my own opinion on that, and rely more on being on the ground and the people who actually live there and what their recommendations are.
Awesome. Let's see. What was I going to ask? Oh, I don't know if you have any favorite quotes from any of your books that you would like to share with us, but if you have something, I would love to hear a story from your book or something that you'd like to share if you want to. And while she's searching for that, folks, I do want to tell you in the chat, if you have any questions for Theresa about travel or about the Chicago area, because she's an expert on the Chicago area. And I know that we have lots of people who are interested in big cities. Please be sure to add that into the chat, put at Happy Trails Hiking, and I will be sure to ask Theresa. All right. Did you find what you wanted? I'm sorry. I just kind of threw that one out.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I have just actually done a couple of book readings, but those are generally a bit longer. So I'm trying to find something I could tell quickly. But
oh, well, we have a few minutes, and so it's fine either way. I don't want you to give away your whole book or anything, but I would love to hear just a little bit of it.
Let's see. Well, you mentioned Zion, and that's the chapter I opened up to.
Oh, so, I love Zion. Yes. Ooh,
okay. The park is so popular that there's only one scenic drive, and if you want to do any hiking beyond what's available from the road, which is to say most of the park, you have to take a shuttle. Since we were planning on visiting Bryce Canyon, we needed to take SR9 through Zion and only had time to stop for one of those trails. But oh, what a trail it was. After exiting a mile-long tunnel through Mount Carmel, we got lucky when a pickup truck backed out of the parking lot. If we'd been 30 seconds later, we would have missed it and would have missed Overlook Trail. A mile round trip, a sign greets hikers with a picture of a goat and the following warning. This rocky, uneven trail is not for anyone fearful of heights, although most drop-offs are fenced. Most drop-offs are fenced. That meant some weren't.
That's awesome. Yeah, we loved Zion. Oh my gosh. It was one of our favorite places. We went there last time. We've been there a couple times, but we went there the last time in March of 2017, right after we'd been to Death Valley. And if you haven't been on that 2-lane gem of a road, oh my gosh, that's an epic place too. But Zion and the Canyon Overlook, we actually got there at like 5:45 in the morning, and so we didn't have to wait for the people to pull out. There was nobody in the parking lot. But interestingly, we had people at the trail, like at the Overlook, when we got there. So it's one of our favorite time lapse. Matt set up a time lapse when we got there, and you can actually see it's like a curtain coming down on the canyon when we were there. So yeah,
I'll have to look at that. We were there at the same time. We were there in March 2017.
Oh, that's crazy.
We might have passed each other if I'd been there a little earlier in the day.
Might have met each other on the Riverwalk Trail or something, or been on the shuttles together. The shuttle lines weren't all that bad then either. So, anyway, yeah, that's very cool. Oh, I'm gonna have to get your books. I'm working on it. I've been since I went to the Midwest Travel Network conference. I've been like, okay, I got to get this book and this book and this book, and I know all these writers now, and I got to get these books, and yeah, so I got it so much. But anyway, hey guys, is there anything going on in the chat? It wasn't city in Zion. Wasn't that a city in the Matrix? Oh, Susan's Crave says, wasn't that the city in the Matrix? Well, it was a ship in the movie, The Matrix. Yes, it was. But Zion is a location. It's a national park, and I guess it's a place in the Bible too. We're marching.
It was named by the Mormons.
Yes, yes, exactly.
We cover a lot of that history in the books.
Oh, yay! That's very fun. So, what are your new projects that you're working on, or is there anything new coming up? There's always something new.
Always something new. Well, I'm in the planning stages for volume 3 of the 2-Lane Gem series, and this one is going to be closer to home. So I don't want to reveal too much right now, but because the last 2 trips were so far flung and long, and thousands and thousands of miles, I thought this one needs to be a little more compact and closer to home and highlight what's beautiful in this area of the country.
Awesome. Yeah, I love covering the Midwest stuff. And since I started following the Midwest Travel Network and so many of those travel bloggers, it's just been wonderful to see all the places that I miss out on.
Yeah.
Missouri, Kansas, Illinois, all of those that I don't get to see or didn't even know about, So yeah, I really, really appreciate all of you writers who are writing wonderful stories and giving nonfiction accounts of what is out there for everybody to see. So,
and there's so much. I mean, there's a library in Charles City, Iowa, and this is what actually kicked me off on my journey now, that has Rembrandt, Dali, Manet, Wood, and this is in a town of 8,000 people, and you can just walk into the library and they have this incredible art collection that you would imagine in the Art Institute of Chicago or in New York City. I mean, and you can find unique places like that all over.
Yes, and that's what I'm learning. It's just crazy. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's awesome. And I'd never heard of it. I'll have to, and I used to live in Iowa. That's so bad. Anyway, Theresa, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you'd like to finish out? Our 30 minutes are up. Can you even believe it?
Oh my goodness.
I know.
What?
It's so fast. Anyway, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers before we let them go for the day?
Yeah, just get out there and travel it home, and be a local anytime you travel, and don't be afraid to talk to the people who live there. And when you're at home, get out and explore what's in your backyard, because you'll be surprised at just how much there is to do.
Awesome, Theresa. Thank you so much. Hang out for just a
Mhm.
second while I say bye to everybody here, and I'll be right back with you. Hey guys, thank you all for being here today, and I hope that you all will check out Theresa's links in the description below. I appreciate her being here so much. Tomorrow on the Healthy Lifestyle Show is Workout Wednesday, so join me at 10 a.m. for a lightweight workout that anybody can do. Appreciate you all being here. Remember, until tomorrow, you are not replaceable. Go live the life you love, guys. Thanks so much.